Hello everyone, Tara here. It has been a long time since I've done an update. Okay, where do I begin? Today is March 10th, 2023, and I have wanted to record so many times and I just haven't done it. Yesterday I sent my list for today to an accountability partner I'm working with, and I have done everything on that list except record this video I am recording right now. And I think it's because it's easy for me to push this in the back burner and say all the other things I'm doing are more urgent, need to get done right away. I need to stop that pattern because otherwise there won't be a channel, or there'll just be a channel with random postings, which is what's happening right now. So my apologies for being gone so long. Let me see, where should I pick up? The store closed. Last time I was recording, I was talking about the store closing. I really can't, I know I recorded a lot more video than I ever posted. I really struggled. I struggle with endings and I struggle with changes like that. And I know there was days where we were closing this, packing up merchandise from the store and taking it to other stores. So I know I made one trip to Bloomington with the owner. I made a trip to Morris. I was in Ottawa several times working on clearing things out, and it was tough. It was tough. I mean, time just keeps going so quickly, so everything just kept moving. It was really busy. I didn't really do any readings. I thought I would do some readings in December. I might have done one. It was just really slow. The focus was on getting product out of there and then other life stuff. The month flew by. So then January comes and I think we still had the store for like another week. We had a little extension for a week or maybe 10 days. I can't remember. So there was an extension. So some of the clearing kind of went into January, but the owner was doing the majority of that. I was just helping a little bit, and I'm just so appreciative I had the opportunity to be there for 2 years. So I just wanted to help as much as I could. After the store closed, thankfully I had readings booked. I had some Zoom readings booked in January. I was so happy for that. That was such a blessing for, it really kept me, I'm like, okay, this is awesome. January, I felt like flew by as well with some readings. There was only probably 3 or 4, but it was just so wonderful to have those. And I think one of the concerns I had was, am I still a professional medium if I don't work in a store? Of course, I still am a professional medium. I'm doing this for my line of work, but I worried, if I go a long gap without a reading, I don't know, there's just these fears that were popping up in my mind. And it wasn't just that, it was like letting go of Ottawa is an incredible city, and just the experiences there. I remember coming out of the store and just music would be playing. It's in a downtown and the downtown's gorgeous and beautiful. There was just so many magical moments there. But I also just love that town. So yeah, January flew by. February, so I was getting a little nervous, February I didn't have anything. And then about a week, right before, maybe a couple days or a week before Valentine's Day, really close to Valentine's Day, I was asked to return to a store I had been at the year prior. I was elated. I was so happy. And I want to say this was a really important day for me because I think I was really struggling with, am I going to really be able to generate, bring enough readings in and make this sustainable? So I was going through a lot of those fears, a lot of those thoughts. Anyway, long story short, I did that event. I had my sign-up sheet was completely full, completely booked. So many incredible readings came out of that evening, and I want to say afternoon, evening. There's so much really good. Like I felt really good about the evidence. I felt really strong. Like there was some shift. I think it's been getting stronger over time. I don't know. There was just something about after that day, I was just on a high energetically of I am absolutely on the right track. Like all of the doubt I've been feeling for probably December, January, and February, just like, how is this going to work? How is this going to come together? Just normal human worries. Again, I wasn't leading from the soul part. Who knows? I'm going to be okay. I was really in the human part of just, and I would dip back and forth. I would be feeling great about things, and then I would have the fear running kind of in the background or pop up here and there. So that was kind of what was happening for me. I just wanted to do a little update, what I've been up to. I mean, there's been so much. In that time, I was part of my first TNR. TNR stands for Trap, Neuter, Release. So there's an incredible organization that started last year in my town, and I'm helping the founder of that organization. I'm helping with transports. So I got to drive, I think we had 15 or 16 cats that went to get spayed, neutered. There were a couple dogs that were in another vehicle, but I drove the cargo van with the cats. I was just so happy to be a part of this. Tomorrow morning, we are actually doing the second one of the year. So that has been an incredible part that this all just started this year, helping with those transports. Absolutely love helping the cats and being a part of that. The organizer does 90% of the work. I'm just doing a small part by driving, super happy, and being extra hands, carrying cages, the kennels with the cats, and just helping. But I'm just elated. Okay, so if I sound a little hard to understand, I have almost been up 24 hours. So I got up at 3 a.m. I was so excited about an event I had today. So I talked about the Valentine's Day event. Well, then a store that was a little bit down, like probably a block and a half down the road, they asked me to come do the St. Patty's Day event, and which is a little before St. Patty's Day, but they were celebrating tonight. And they asked me to be a reader there. Again, so happy. I love doing these events. But I woke up at 3 o'clock and I was just not falling back asleep. So I had a pretty full day already. I had a couple hours of work this morning. I had a class. I had time for lunch, thankfully, but the day really went quick and it was time to go to my event. I don't know if it's because I was tired or what was happening, but I usually am very busy at these events. Like usually within a half hour being there, my sheet is completely filled. So I do every 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I do have a time slot available for a new person, for a new reading. And I just had a couple people tonight. They were wonderful. I loved the readings. It was absolutely worth the trip, and I'm so happy I made it. I would have driven there for one reading, or even just for the opportunity to be there. You know what? This is reminding me of something. I remember one event I did in the same town I was in tonight. It's about 30 minutes away from me. And I was feeling so unsure. I was really new to these events, and I kind of just sat there hoping nobody would show up. I remember that day. Oh, I remember I was not disappointed when I did have some people. And then I remember, so I was just not really wanting to do, I was just nervous, and I was just doubting myself, all of the things we do as mediums often. And I remember a young girl, I still remember, this was so many years ago. I remember a young girl, and I could feel her father with her. And it was a very emotional reading. Like her father came through so clear, and I was so grateful to that man, because before that reading, it was just one of the more powerful ones. I had another one. It makes me think of another father that came through for a daughter. It's really interesting. Those have been some of my strongest readings. But this one was incredible, the stuff that came through. And I was not used to delivering evidence of that caliber of that detail. When I delivered that reading, and I remember just being so grateful. And I might have done that one reading the whole night. I can't remember if I had any more or not. Maybe one or two more. It was a very slow night. I bought some merchandise in the store that I was a clothing store, and I think I spent more than I made, but I was just grateful to be there. And still grateful. I mean, I'm so grateful that the clarity and the evidence has gotten stronger, and I know it's going to continue. Like, I know that I know that I can still be blended more deeply. I can be more in the power. I can be more in the link. I can receive the communication much more quickly. I know that there's still so much room for growth, and I'm excited about that. Let me see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really wanted to talk about. I have no idea if I'm going to post this, but I'm hoping I do, because I want to get back in the pattern and the habit of recording videos and just giving updates. There is so much growth that is happening, week to week, month to month. Like, I know it's really important I record right now because I'm hitting that momentum where the readings are getting more exciting, more alive, more, what's the word? There's more evidence, there's more connection, there's more clarity, there's more blending. I mean, there's just more is happening. And I remember when I was absolutely snatching, they call it snatching information, when you're just getting a little bit. I remember when I was like, I had this question for so many of my teachers. I receive something and then I have to wait a long time before something else comes through. I remember having these big gaps, and I don't know, I think they felt bigger to me than they really were, but they were big enough. There were big gaps between the information, and it was so difficult for me to understand. How do I not do that anymore? How do I just flow and have the information flowing and moving? I still sometimes will have gaps. So it's just an always developing journey, mediumship journey. It's always developing. One of my favorite teachers of all time ever on the mediumship path is, and just life is, trying to remember how he says it. We are always evolving and growing. If we're not progressing in our mediumship, then we're most likely going backwards, or we're not going to just stay in one spot. Like, we're always got to be progressing. And I love that because it pushes me to do the other practice, do the other class, do the other thing. And that's another thing I want to say, as I have been doing so much more practice. Absolutely. That has been a big focus in the last several months. Wonderful practice on Tuesday evening. Last night, Thursday evening, went to a great practice. Wednesday morning, I've been going to a practice group off and on. Wednesday afternoon, there's a new practice group I haven't joined yet, but I plan to join hopefully next week. I threw a bunch of times on the Very Soul website, which is an incredible website for mediums to connect with people. I put up a bunch of times the other night, so I gave, I think, like 3 or 4 days a week. I think it was 3 days a week, but I want to add to that. But I put up a bunch of times of my availability. So I'm really making a lot more time for mediumship, for practice, for development, for connecting with the public. One area that I really need to work on is putting more free Zoom readings out there. I cannot wait to do my next one. It's been so busy. It's been busy with a lot of things, not just mediumship. I'm also working on just personal development. So yes, I feel like I've shared at least some of the things that have been going on with me. I would love it any other mediums do end up watching this, if you just want to share really anything, any questions you have, or anything you want to share about your mediumship journey that you feel like would help other developing mediums, because I really want this to be a channel for mediums to see. Well, there's going to be mediums and non-mediums on the channel. I believe there's going to be non-mediums here that had a reading and want to watch their reading playback, that want to watch other readings. I love that. And then also I want this to be a resource for mediums, for encouragement. I would say one of the most amazing things is to keep moving forward. Keep moving forward with your dream. Things, I believe, are imprinted on our hearts when we're meant to be doing them. So when we're so excited to be doing a thing, it's because that's what we came here to do. Yesterday? Goodness. It was yesterday. Took me a minute to figure that out. Yesterday I was in a class and they talked about the soul promise and a soul's purpose and a soul's promise, the thing it came here to fulfill, or the things it came here to fulfill. I think it's so important to find out what those things are for ourselves. And because once we align with that, life changes so much, so much. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about what life was like before I was developing my mediumship and on the mediumship journey, and when I was trying to live what I call someone else's vision of my life, or someone else's dream vision for my life. And then when I really figured out what I wanted to do and then had the courage to make it happen, that's a whole nother long video. I hope this is helpful. I hope that this is not just me rambling, because I feel like that is right now, but I hope this is helpful for someone. If you are a developing medium and you find this video at some point in your journey, please know there's so many beings in the spirit world, so many souls rooting you on, encouraging you. Mediums are needed. Mediums are needed for mediumship work, psychic work, soul guidance, life path, soul assessments, spiritual assessments. Mediums are needed because there is so much desire for us to not only connect with loved ones who have passed, but connect with ourselves more deeply. So please, I hope that you hear this message and know that it's also coming from your soul, wanting you to continue. It's not for the faint of heart. It is a tough journey, but it's also the most rewarding, one of the most rewarding things we'll do in our time here. So with that, I'm going to close. Thank you for watching. And if there are any topics you want me to talk about, please ask. I want this to be a resource. My hope is this will be a resource for developing mediums to have. Even by one medium sharing her journey, I'm hoping it'll encourage, inspire, and maybe be the thing that keeps you going on the path, because it's tough and support is needed. It is. I've wanted to quit so many times. I've not wanted to quit, but thought, well, I should quit because I thought I sucked. I didn't think I was very good at it. And when you start to receive the communication much more efficiently, effectively, with more clarity, with more evidence, with more conviction, with more certainty, with more feeling, with more of the clairs all blended together, when the blending is deeper, you look back at those early years and you're just thankful. Like, you're just thankful that you stuck it out. I'm thankful, and so thankful for you for being here today.